And here we go, we're getting to the upper semifinals, and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Oceanborn, we have the red Protoss player representing Team Blazer. Just took down Oriana to make it this far. It is the Polish Protoss, it is Krystianer. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the blue Protoss representing Storm Gaming. Just took down Go Joey in the quarterfinals. It is MindelVK. And if you're in the chat, predictions are open. Predictions open. I see in the chat, how does tuna jam even taste? Oh, like tuna. Not bad, not bad. Hello, Poisty, New Zealand, and I stand. Bienvenidos, bienvenidos. Of course, I'm sure Wormshake in the chat, cheering for his boy, cheering for his countrymen. And yeah, we'll see how this does unfold. So far, 2 gate openers from both players. Everything looking normal, everything looking as it should. But just because we have 2 gate openers, just because even the second pylon could be in the main base, doesn't mean we're going to get standard play. My eyes are on the Protoss. Both of them. Pro's going to be moving out. We see Krystianer in the main base patrolling, looking for when and where the second pylon is thrown down. As Krystianer has his own second pylon next to his gas geyser. There it is, in between the mineral patches. So Krystianer, he sees this, he should recognize, okay, there's no proxy. The early game should be normal, and now it comes down to what are going to be our first 2 units. What is going to be coming out next? Do we go double Stalker, double Adept, Stalker Sentry, or even Adept Stalker? And there it is, double Stalker from MindelVK. We have double Adept from Krystianer. The way this dynamic works, of course, is Krystianer wants to be the aggressor. He's going to be moving out, going to be threatening, dives into the main base, looking for economic damage. Meanwhile, MindelVK will have a much more secure start here. In a head-to-head fight, the Stalkers will come out on top. It's a good way to just secure your position and secure your natural base as well. Something a little bit more middle of the road or solid. Defensive. There it is. The first 2 Adepts have arrived. They're going to be going for that probe. And what's important is that we don't just have 2 Adepts. We have 2 more on the way. A bit of a supply block, which is brutal, but we have gone up to 4. And we could even commit to 6 and even 8 Adepts. So very aggressive here from Krystianer. The first 2 Adepts isn't enough of a tell, because to go 2 Adepts into 2 Stalkers is quite common, actually, quite common. But we're doubling down here on Adept aggression, on Adept production. And MindelVK has to get a read on what is going on as his Stalkers move out across the map. Going to be looking to assert himself. The Stalkers, they have arrived. Likewise, Adepts, they threaten the shade into the main base. We do throw down that pylon. Krystianer is the first to expand. MindelVK going for a Stargate follow-up instead. Not all in, but the Stargate is a good way to get economic damage done and to catch up in the economy. Meanwhile, MindelVK is going up to 3 Stalkers, applying a lot of pressure here to this natural. The Adepts, they have to come back. Ooh, even forced to recall. We have 5 Adepts, soon to be 6. Is that going to be enough, though? Can we dive on those Stalkers? So far, we are going to be able to commit to the shade. We do trade 1 for 1. But a second Adept goes down. Yeah, we should be able to chase this back. Good control. Krystianer pulling back one of his Adepts. Commits and, oh, takes down another. Not too bad. Trading 3 Adepts for 2 Stalkers as we chase this all the way back. Again, we have to be very careful with our control. Additional Stalkers are on the way. Oh. And behind this, we have Krystianer going into a robo. Immortal production has commenced. His 3rd base is slowly getting up and running. There's that Oracle that we spoke about to get ahead, to catch up economically. The Adepts did shade across the map. And do we have anything to defend against the Oracle? Uh-oh. As the Oracle does threaten the main base. So far, Krystianer, he's able to keep up, but a very tense moment. That Stasis Trap is going to be thrown down. Up. Oof. Yeah, gonna have to trigger it here with one of those Stalkers, but with the Immortals, we have enough. The Force Fields are thrown down. Oh my god. Decent Force Fields, but not quite going to be enough. The The Stalkers do manage to slip away. And Krystianer, he will get away with a better economy, up to 33 probes. MindelVK on 31. Now, we do have a second Oracle. With 2 Oracles, we can one-shot workers. MindelVK can still get economic damage done and catch up and even get ahead. There is potential. There's a lot of potential in these Oracles. Likewise, potential in these Adepts, as they're still alive and they shade across the map. We have our follow-up. It's going to be Robo, Forge, Twilight Council. Blink and +1 should be on the way here for our blue Protoss. Likewise, Blink should be on the way from our red. So far, pushing this back. We're even getting a kill on one of those Oracles. A bit of an overextension there from our Protoss. From our blue Protoss. MindelVK will move out. Fanning out his units. He's looking for those Adepts. He's aware that they're out here somewhere. Just trying to catch them. Getting into his own immortal production. There is now Blink on the way for Krystianer. And we shouldn't be too far behind here for MindelVK as well. As the Oracle makes its way towards that natural race, the Stalkers are in position. Oh, no! A bit of miscontrol and the Oracle dives in. That was not intentional. Second Oracle falls. Not like this. As behind this, we are not going for Blink or Charge. We're going for Glaives. Let's go. The player that didn't start with Adepts is going to be ending it all with Adepts instead. That's the third base on the way. So the way this works, Glaives does not scale well into the mid game. As you can imagine, doesn't scale well as the game progresses, but it's a good way to catch your opponent off guard. Adepts in general, they take a lot of hits. They do a great job at soaking Stalker hits and Stalker damage, immortal damage as well. So this is a way to just dive, go all in, and try to shade on top of your opponent and commit to a big fight. With, of course, immortals behind. The goal is the Adepts don't necessarily deal a lot of damage, but the immortals do. So a crazy maneuver here from MindelVK. He's working on +1 attack as well. Now, before we can get into his Glaive Adepts, it's going to be losing a Stalker. Krystianer is going to be threatening that third. Both players are taking their expansions. Charge on the way from Krystianer as well. There is that gateway explosion from MindelVK. And getting ready for his push, getting ready for his timing. So far, dancing with the army. Going for a couple of War Prisms of Adepts. There's that War Prism on the way. This is what I was waiting for. This is the sign of the push. We're going to be moving out. It's going to be 3 Immortals, 1 War Prism, a handful of Sentries, handful of Stalkers, and a mass amount of Adepts. But Krystianer, he's the first to push in. He is the first to arrive. And this could actually work well for MindelVK. Like, he's got a shield battery, he has an overcharge to use to his advantage. They're going to be moving out to meet the army. We have so many charge also to meet up with this. I'm concerned. The Archon's going to be massive. The Archons, they can just have their way with their Adepts. And here we go, we're pushing on in. Good target firing, but the shield batteries are being knocked down. 1 Archon does fall, but we dive on the army, trying to go straight for those Immortals. Overcharge is popped. Adepts are on the way. That's 1 Immortal going down, and Krystianer, he doesn't like what he sees, he backs off. And there's still 2 Immortals remaining. Adepts have been revealed. Blink now on the way. The Prism! No! The Prism goes down. Not ideal here. Krystianer is going to be able to pick off a couple of these workers. And essentially MindelVK has to go for plan B. That's why we have Blink in production here. Did I say Krystianer? MindelVK has to go for plan B. That's why we have Blink on the way. Obviously, he wasn't able to hit his timing with Glaives. He just lost his Warp Prism. And as he tries to catch these Stalkers, we have a Zealot run by waddling in towards the main. We catch the Stalkers. Good trade, good pickup. Oh, the Immortal, no! Bit of an overextension, the Immortal is gonna get picked up. Krystianer slipping up a little bit too much. Big losses there. Losing an Immortal is huge. And MindelVK has a lot of potential with his army. I mean, look at how large it is. He's got the Immortal lead. He's got the Stalker lead. He's snowballing out of control. Again, the fight at his third base did go in his favor. As he moves out, we do have a bit of Zealot harass. Krystianer, he desperately wants MindelVK to turn around, but he's not. He doesn't have to. He's pushing in with a death bull of an army. Krystianer, he just cannot keep up. The Archons are doing what they can, but there are just so many Stalkers. Their cannons are falling, and it's just a numbers game at this point. Krystianer just cannot keep up, not with this kind of army. We have a pseudo surround. The Archons are doing what they can, but against a mass-being Stalker army with the Immortals as well, GG gets called, and MindelVK takes game number 1. Oh, GG. Oh my god. GG, well played again. He wanted to hit his own glaive timing, but Krystianer came to him, and again, with the defender's advantage, with the shield batteries, with the overcharge as well, MindelVK was able to take such a great fight. Reset the Archon counts, kept most of his Immortals alive, deflected Krystianer, and even caught a bunch of Stalkers as well on the left. Remember, when they were caught in the stasis trap, it was like 6 Stalkers. It was huge. That was huge, and now Mindel, he's one game away from advancing on to the grand finals. He is oh so close. And here we go. One more step. That's all he needs. And we're going to be loading in to Hecate. Also, I would love some water. One moment. I made the mistake of not refilling my water before the cast. So I've been running on fumes, Poppy, but here we go. We're getting into this, and spawning in the bottom left hand corner of Hecate, we have the Polish Protoss player, the red Protoss, representing Team Blazer. Down in the series, it is Krystianer. And spawning in the top right hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the blue Protoss, the blue Protoss player, representing Storm Gaming, one game away from advancing on to the grand finals. It is MindelVK. Here we go. One more is all he needs. And again, I mentioned this earlier, that Mindel, he has been popping off recently. Like, we've been casting him in our Sparkling Tuna Cups, and he's been going for deeper and deeper runs, better and better performances. It has been really amazing to see him grow as a player, and he's been finding some success. He's been streaming a lot as well, been very active on his own Twitch channel. I believe he's streaming his current run in the tournament, and yeah, taking down Krystianer would be a big win, a big moment for his overall, like, yeah, even career, taking down a player, one of the best Protosses in Poland. I would say Krystianer's top 2 alongside Geralt even. So yeah, impressive stuff so far. We'll see if we can keep it up. We'll see if we can keep it going, or if we get an ace match. Personally, I want the ace match. I want this, regardless of, you know, which direction this goes in. I want this to go the distance. I want to get all 3 games, but we'll see. We'll see what Krystianer and MindelVK have to offer, where this takes us. So far, both pylons are in the main base of Mindel and Krystianer respectively. Oh, the probe goes down to probe aggression. That is not something that usually occurs. Krystianer slipping up a little bit there. Ay, ay, ay. The probe falls, and we're going for a Stalker Sentry Opener. Very safe build here from MindelVK. The way this works is that you're going to be stuck at home. You're not going to be active on the map. With this Sentry, you gain a hallucination. With that hallucination scout, you get to see everything that your opponent's doing. You get to see the opener, the tech, the expansion, whether there is or isn't one, and yeah, it's just a very safe way to play this out. After taking a lead in the series, this makes sense. This makes sense that MindelVK, he would want to just make sure that he doesn't get cheesed. Meanwhile, once again, Adept opener, but this time only 2. This time we don't double down going up to 6 or even 8 Adepts like we did previously. We only go for 2 and we're going to be threatening a shade, but Mindel is in position to block it. Likewise, across the map, this pylon does reveal not just the Stalkers, also reveals the Robo follow-up. Okay. Very interesting. Pylon gets dealt with. Expansion should be upon us. There it is. Nexus is on the way. Now, with this Robo opener, we can go for faster Observer, of course, to get scouting information as well, similar to what the Hallucination is going to be doing. Speaking of Adepts, oh, the commit. The wall, not quite a wall. We commit to the shade, we get a probe, and we're going to get even more. Disastrous start here from MindelVK. All it takes is one moment, one slip up where you're not paying attention, and just like that, the wall was not a wall. The door was open, and 7 probes go down. Ay, ay, ay. An insane start here for Krystianer. Hallucination Scout doesn't get to see much, just because it was thrown down in a panic and it runs out. I mean, we saw the Robo earlier. We're getting into early game Immortal production already. Krystianer going for his own counter scout. And MindelVK, he has to be active. He has to do something here. In a mirror matchup, being behind in workers is brutal. Hallucination comes in, confirms that we don't have initial gateways, confirms the natural base, and that Blink is on the way. Now, Krystianer won't have Blink to work with, that's why he's building up his Immortal count. He's going to have less finesse with his army, but he's going to have more firepower with those Immortals. Here we go. Now, Krystianer just building himself up here on these 2 bases. War Prism's on the way, and Krystianer should soon be moving out. It's going to be 2 Immortals, a good chunk of Stalkers, Sentries of Force Fields. It's going to be a pretty hefty push. Krystianer, he's working... Hey, let's go. I was going to say, he's working on a Forge, which is interesting. So, he may be moving out with his War Prism, but he shouldn't be committing. And yep, okay, he's only going to be harassing with the Depths. He's going to be keeping his main army back at home, and he's working towards a +1 glaive timing, very similar to what we saw last game from MindelVK. And Krystianer, he saw what killed him last game. He likes it. He likes the pipe. He wants to try it himself as the Prism is moving out. Likewise, Stalkers pushing through the center. 3rd base soon to be taken for MindelVK. Meanwhile, I don't think Krystianer is really too concerned about a 3rd, not anytime soon. Not yet. So here we go. We have Adepts into the main. We have Adepts going to be threatening that natural. We don't have much. Oh no, we don't have much at home to defend. The army's out of position. Probes are going down. We force a recall. That's going to be 4 dead workers. We shade into the natural as well. And this is too much. This is becoming game-ending damage. Ay, ay, ay. 8 more dead workers. We already lost so many earlier. It's going to be 9. 16 probes in total. Krystianer, after losing that first game, he's upset. He's angry. And that's a massive gateway explosion. That's 6 gates on the way in addition to the 2 that we already have. It's going to be a 2-base, 8-gate all-in. Krystianer, he knows how crippled MindelVK is. Not just that, not the fact that MindelVK just lost so many workers, but also the fact that he's investing in a 3rd. It's 400 minerals in the 3rd base, instead of in production, and instead of in army. And my god, that's a lot of Immortals. It's 5! Soon to be 6 Immortals! And here we go, we're pushing across the map. Krystianer going for the kill move. Going for that ace match. And it's going to be a miracle defense here for MindelVK. Can he somehow pull this off? He's going for his own gateway explosion. Up into 8 gateways. but he's one step behind. He has a third base to recover economically. He's been making workers this entire time. He has caught up. But that's because Krystianer hasn't been making any probes at all. And here he comes. Here he comes right towards that natural. Dwarf isn't behind this to reinforce. Even without reinforcements, this army is insane. He is more than double the army supply. 63 to the 29 here of MindelVK. Does catch a couple of adepts. But we can just zone Mindel out from his own natural. And Force Field just cutting him off here. Cutting him off from that natural base. We go straight for the Nexus. GG gets called. There's no way to engage. And Krystianer takes game 2. We're going to the ace match. All the way, Poppy, all the way. GG. Again, really nice harassment there from Krystianer, winning him that game. The initial Adept Shade and then the follow-up Adepts into the bases of Mindel. Was just too much to handle, too much chaos ensuing, and unfortunately Mindel was out of position with his army. He could not defend, could not keep up with the Adepts, and the Adepts were basically the MVPs of that game. I know that, the eventual Immortal push killed Mindel, but before that, the writing was on the wall. The Adepts got out of hand. And now we are going to game 3. All the way to that ace match. We're here to find out, how will this story end? Here we go. And it's going to be on Golden Aura. We have our map. We have our map. It all concludes with the Aura of Golden. Ravenous. Actually, with the chat. Protoss is so OP. 100% win rate. Mate, PvP unwinnable, Poppy. Unwinnable. Smooch. Here we go. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Golden Aura, we have the Polish Protoss player, the Red Protoss, tying up the series 1-1 in that last game, forcing the ace match. Representing Team Blazer, it is Krystianer. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the Blue Protoss, representing Storm Gaming. It is MindelVK. Here we go. Again, Krystianer snowballing out of control in that last game off of some economic damage with those Adepts. And here we'll see if MindelVK can recover. We'll see if he can just take a breath, take a moment here to settle things down and get into the mid game in a stable position. We'll see if we can get there. We'll see if we even get a mid game. To be fair, we are on Golden Aura. Short rushes to spike round. We could just double down, just go all in. We'll see. For now, 2-gate opener. 2-gate opener from MindelVK. Likewise, 2-gate opener from Krystianer. Into the Cyber Core. And we should be seeing the second pylons in their respective main bases as well. So bright. Quack. What sound does the tuna make? What sound does Ryung make? Quack. As the probes are moving out. Again, just getting a read on what each other is up to. Second pylon in the main for Krystianer and for Mindel as well. So everything's looking normal. No proxy, no cheese to kick things off. Not yet. Not yet. As once again, Krystianer going for a double Adept opener. Going back to game 1, if you recall. So double Adept opener from Krystianer. We have a Stalker Sentry opener here from MindelVK once again. Very safe way to open up, just like the last game. To reiterate myself, it is just to scout your opponent, to get confirmation of, the timing of their natural base, any kind of tech structure they throw down, any additional production. Sentries are, just a really secure way to open up in PvP. It doesn't mean that you can't be aggressive, you can't be assertive, which is what Krystianer is going for instead. But only double Adepts. Again, just like the last game, he's not doubling down on double or, sorry, into 4 depths or 6 or even 8. Just 2. So we are going to be threatening a shade into the natural. This time MindelVK does keep up. Does wall off. But it isn't about walling off against the first shade. It's about walling off against the second, the third, the fourth shade. Krystianer, he's going to be just so active, just constantly threatening this base. And it's going to be on Mindel to keep up every single time. As here comes out to Luke. Loose Nation comes in. Does get eyes on the tech of choice. Does get eyes on the Robo, just like the previous game. And also confirms the expansion as well. So Mindel, he knows that he should be safe and sound at home. And is aware, of course, his opponent is going to be foregoing Blink in favor of Immortals and a Warp Prism. Could take him into the shade, but the wall is solid. We force a recall. And again, this time Mindel, he keeps up. Going for his Twilight Council, going to have a much faster Blink. We have a Forge on the way for +1, so this tells us that Mindel's going for a very Blink Stalker heavy composition. And we'll see if he can get there. Krystianer going to be moving out here with 4 Stalkers. Does catch a Stalker of Mindel. Shield Battery not quite done, but we have Force Fields. And that should be enough to force Krystianer back. As I say that, we threaten another shade. But we do focus some of them down, but the counter Force Fields. MindelVK, he is trapped. Shield Battery still needs a little bit more time, and it finally does finish up, but not before the sentries go down. The sentry count was reset for both players. Meanwhile, one Adept does shade into the main base, forcing the probes off the mineral line. That's going to be 2 dead workers. But that could have been so much worse. Only 2 dead workers. As Mindel does hold, he does survive. He is still in this. Behind this, Krystianer, once again, just like the previous game, going for a Warp Prism first. And I imagine as he moves out, he's going to be warping in some Adepts and looking to drop those Adepts into that main base. And we saw how much damage they did in game number 2. Can Krystianer replicate that here in game 3? As he moves out with his Warp Prism, it's the same build. Actually, unironically, same build from Krystianer 2 games in a row. Immortal production, Glaives are on the way, Gateway Explosion is upon us. Krystianer, he's looking to go for a 2-base all-in. Meanwhile, Mindel, he's just trying to get into the mid-game. He's trying to get into an economic situation. Adepts, they shade in. They get dropped into the main base. Probes are going down. Mindel was out of position once again. Thankfully, only 5. Only 6. Still a lot of damage. 6 workers for 2 Adepts. Really good trade here for Krystianer. Really good trade. It also forced the recall as well. It forced Mindel all the way back home. Because he just recalled, unlikely for Mindel to move out, which means the push from Krystianer is going to be unscouted. As Mindel's going for Glaives. Of course he is. We're all about the Glaives, Slappy. All about it. So, taking stock for a moment here. Krystianer, he's going to move out first. He's going to hit first. And he will have an Immortal advantage. Right now, he's got 2 Immortals to the 0 of Mindel. Mindel, he should have 1 Immortal by the time this attack happens. Oh boy, as I say that, we're building up towards 4 Immortals. Warp Prism still active, still out there. Here comes the push. Glaives is finishing up just in time for this attack for both players. Also going to kick in here for Mindel. Mindel does have cannons, shield batteries, overcharge as well. I kind of want to favor Mindel because of the defender's advantage, but we need another warp in. The Gateway Explosion is still on the way. He doesn't really have too much of a production. Here we go. We're pushing in. Warp is a massive warping of Adepts into the main base. And the army pushes in towards the natural. MindelVK out of position. He's going to blink all over, but blink on over. But the shield barrier is going to be focused now. The overcharge runs out, and Krystianer, he's having his way with his army. He chews through it. GG gets called. Krystianer pulling apart his opponent and will take the series 2-1, advancing on to the grand finals. GG. GG, well played. Krystianer, oh my god, once again pulling apart his opponent. Glaive adepts into the main base, the push towards the natural, and Mindel just did not have eyes on the army, and a big reason for that was the recall. Otherwise, he would have been out there, he would have been active, he would have been able to slow down the push and even get eyes on when the push occurred. The fact that he was stuck at home meant that he had no map vision whatsoever, and yeah, Krystianer took full advantage of that. GG, well played. Krystianer advances on, and MindelVK does bow out. Condolences to Mindel, but a really good showing here to take Krystianer to the ace match and to take down Gogo Joey as well. Really impressive. Really impressive performance here from Mindel. And with that, we have the finals. The grand finals are around the corner, and we're going to be getting ready for them. We're going to be going on a short break. When we return, we're going to have a PvP finals between Krystianer and Night Phoenix. Before those finals, I should also say, if you want to support this tournament, !Patreon. You can see our Patreon just underneath MindelVK's name. That is how we fund our tournament, or that helps fund our tournament, I should say. At the moment, we spend 300 USD a month, and with our Patreon, we're almost 2/3 of the way there. We supplement, you know, that excess money with our sub money from subscriptions on Twitch and other, and of course AdSense and stuff like that. We're able to, you know, at least help fund our tournaments, and that's currently where all of our resources go to. So if you want to help support us, if you want to help fund us, if you want to help us grow our tournaments, because we do have some stretch goals on where we want to take our tournaments and, you know, help them be more consistent, more regular, turn our bi-weeklies into weeklies, pay out top 4 instead of top 2, you can do so on Patreon if you wish. Again, our Patreon supports all of our tournaments: Sparkling Tuna Cup, Grand Platypus Open, and the Tenacious Turtle Tussle as well. So again, if you're interested, Patreon is there. Otherwise, thank you for the support, thank you for following, and enjoy the duct tape. We're going to be back in 5 minutes with the finals. See you soon.